Hey guys, Summer here with Boral Farm. Want to welcome you to Pot TV.
Hello, this is Steve KUBBY, and I'm with Tony Serra and Ed Rosenthal, and you guys were just having a very animated discussion, so I'm going to hand the mic over to you, Tony. Here you go.
Well, as I have always been, I'm deeply, how would I say, appreciative of the knowledge that Rosenthal imparts to all of us, so I'm going to allow him to tell us what's occurring, and then I will comment, as indicated, very passionately.
Well, there have been 3 initiatives that have been filed in California for legalization in 2014, and 2 of the initiatives just have absolutely no chance of collecting the signatures. And then there's another one that was put up by sort of the same coalition that did the Washington initiative, and it's as bad as the Washington initiative. It would only allow, for instance, 4 plants for home cultivation. So there had been an initiative that had been worked on, but there was a coalition that was working on it, but then because of different circumstances, they were sort of in a stasis position. So I decided to take that initiative and just tweak it a little, because it's difficult to get an initiative that's really meaningful unless the people really have an intimate knowledge of the industry or the thing that they're trying to regulate or trying to do. And it seemed to me that the people had a lot of knowledge from a legal aspect, but they didn't really have knowledge of the industry as well as they could have. So I worked on the initiative with Dale Garinger and also with Joe Rogaway, and took advice from other people as well, and finished the initiative that they had been working on, and I'm going to be filing it tomorrow. And it's called the Marijuana Reform Act of 2014.
Let me comment from a different perspective. Very quickly, the Scheduling 1 category for marijuana will be eliminated, and not through judicial intervention, and I'm of a belief not through legislative intervention, but it will be eliminated, and a billion-dollar industry, the medical marijuana industry of Northern California, will be set free of its greatest, challenge, and that is at present the federal authorities. So we're, as a location, we're the Champaign region of marijuana. We're 20 years ahead of everyone else in the growing, in the horticulture, in the chemistry of the growing, etc. So we must start the precedents. And the precedents we cannot rely on to traditional avenues of reform. So what's the most important thing? Just what has been indicated. We have to go to the people. We have to use the initiatives. We have to establish a precedent that will be followed, nationally, by being the first to create fair, grow, distribution, decriminalization of marijuana. But, you heard what he said, there's 4 of them potentially. That breeds, division. It breeds, how would you call it, antagonism. The movement has to be a unity. And, my hope, but it's perhaps naive and wishful thinking, is that the 4 entities that are presenting the initiative, and it's so important that it pass, somehow confederate and get behind one, or compromise and, synthesize all of them. But I do respect what Rosenthal is doing. He's a visionary, and I have a hunch his position would be the most valid.
I'd like to say that I think that I took into account the needs of the state, of the counties, the cities, all the people who use marijuana, the people who don't use marijuana, and I think almost everybody involved, all the stakeholders, will be really happy about this. And for one thing, I think the police will be really happy about it because it frees the police up to be more involved in violent crime, solving violent crime and things, because this is going to be regulated by the health department and by the Department of Alcohol. So so the police won't have to, they've had a hard time figuring out what the laws are or understanding the laws. Well, they won't have to deal with that any longer because they're not involved. So I think that they'll be really happy about that because they can get on to dealing with other criminal activities that really hurt society. And so the freedom that they will have not to pursue marijuana people will be they'll really appreciate that.
I'm a cynic because I've confronted these DEA, true believers and all of the propaganda that falsely emanates, from the executive. Half of them believe in it, They've been brainwashed. So my caveat, is be involved, take the reins of control, from law enforcement. Take it from the politicians. Don't let the 1%ers grab the medical marijuana industry. Don't allow law enforcement, to be involved. Solidify, unify, go to the polls. Vote in your own laws. We need our own laws. We need innovation. We don't want to become like the tobacco and the liquor industry. We want the grassroots people involved to prosper along with everyone else. We want integrity in the product. We want honesty, but we don't want law enforcement.
So heavy where I stand.